what's going on? Welcome to Heaven on Earth. I'm Michael, the Leo Mystic, and this is where I channel the sacred guidance for this astrological week of the 1st of February until the 7th of February. We are in Aquarius season, and Aquarius is astrology as well. So, talking about astrology, the 9th of March, we're starting with the Astrological course, 6 weeks or 6 weekends in a row, where we're going to dive deeper into the basics of astrology. But in those basics, we also look at the depth of who we are. So we're going to analyze our charts personally. And so that's how we best learn astrology, into my opinion. But we're also going to go deeper into the elements, the planets, the aspects, the houses, so that you really, from scratch, understand astrology. All right, so this week, as I say, it's quite an Aquarian week, and we have an overload of Aquarian energy once Venus. I mean, it's already the case, but Venus is coming into Aquarius on Tuesday, and so that contributes to the group, to community, to other people, society. So, it becomes important to really look at the future. It becomes important to start seeing how we are going to proceed as humanity with this energy. And that is what is at play right now. And I think with Saturn in Aquarius, first and foremost, which is squaring to Uranus, this is us having to really look and see how we as a collective are co-creating our future, where we are not as dependent as we would like to be, because that is what Saturn does. It restricts. So we are dependent on other people, on groups, but not as independent as we would like to be. And one of the big lessons here with so much Aquarian energy is that we have to focus on Leo. And Leo is that self, is that heart, is that courage, because we are lacking fire energy right now. So the energy is more mental. It is not as passionate. It is not as, fiery or warm, if you will. People are more alienated, just distant, and want to have an objective meaning about things, which I think is really important. But we gotta take into account that not only is Saturn in Aquarius restricting the community, the feel of community, and restricting the connection with one another, having to do with this lockdown, right? What we're also seeing is that we are experiencing very groups alienating from each other. So people still flocking together, but because of that, having their own opinion, then meeting with some other people, and it's like it becomes a way different form of energy, and you're like, whoa, this is out of this world. This is a completely different opinion. This is weird. And opinions is what's being investigated right now with Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, right? So much Aquarian energy. This Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, in my opinion, is really important, because it's going to investigate how we as a collective co-create together. And so with Saturn in Aquarius Saturn rules Aquarius on the collective. I think what we're going to see with a sextile over to Chiron in Aries, which exposes the weirdness of our individuality and exposes the awkwardness in not taking action, in staying dormant, how we still become aware of who we relate with, what we value, what is important in our lives for ourselves, and who we relate with. And by choosing to not do anything, or by choosing to follow rules, how I think a realization can happen in people. And that's why I'm putting it out there. that whatever you choose as a collective is a truth in and of itself. So we are only, whatever situation that we are finding ourselves in, whether you find it good or bad, whatever, it does create your reality, impacted by a whole society, impacted by a group of people, but it is only because that subjective reality of the group is of a choice of multiple human beings choosing. And that's what I'm saying, is that we gotta look at Leo, which, you know, if you're just staying in that Aquarian energy with Saturn there right now, squaring over to Uranus, we're gonna have people not, you know, doing anything. It's just mental energy. There is a rebellious nature, but honestly, we got Mars in Taurus, so the actions are not as powerful. There is no fire energy except for the moon sometimes when it comes into Sagittarius. But it just stays something in the background. And so what happens is that we're finding ourselves so weird and alienated and dry in a way that we are forming right now ways of how we would want to be in the future. Now, I do think that what is important right now, we got Neptune and Saturn square the nodes, okay? Saturn square the nodes, or just squaring the nodes for that matter, means this needs to happen. You need to look at this. Neptune square the nodes is the illusions of our senses, of our perception. Okay, and I'm going to come to that because that's important. And Saturn square the nodes is your responsibility that you have to look at as a collective in how you co-create. Now, every group is made up out of an individual being, meaning you and me and, you know, every individual. And what they choose to value eventually is going to make an intermediate and is going to create a whole collective point of view. Now, what is important is this week to become aware of how we make a truth, how we make a reality of the things around us. And this is quite, you know, I'm exploring this book, you know, philosophy or the passion of the Western civilization. So the way we think as Westerners and how that has been influenced by, you know, Greek mythology and, you know, postmodern civilization and technology and all those things. But in and of itself, I think if you take things like the courses, like A Course in Miracles, or you study books like Letting Go by David Hawkins, and you look at Platonism, for instance, which really is talking about how your subjective reality is just your personal truth. Now, that is how you perceive reality, and then you make an opinion out of that. That is not a general truth. So this Neptune square the nodes can be very deceiving because we got Neptune square the nodes and the south node, that part which is an illusion in a way with Sagittarius, a truth that is an illusion that you're telling yourself. Well, Jupiter, which is a ruler of Sagittarius, we got to look at what illusions, what truths is an illusion, what are you making your truth. And Jupiter in Aquarius is a deceiving ruler, a deceiving teacher, a deceiving authority in a way, with Saturn there still too, deceiving leadership with a fixed belief system that squaring Mars is really forcing that belief system on us. And I think this is that Aquarius is the collective. So a collective belief system that is hurting Mars in Taurus, Uranus, that is hurting that collective belief system, that is hurting the physical body, that is hurting the value system of this earth, and the pains that come with it. And especially when on Thursday the moon in Scorpio, it opposes Mars in Taurus, which is really, that is an energy that is, be cautious of crossing boundaries physically. So for yourself there too, could cause fear. This could cause, people that have all these instinctive desires coming up, maybe suppressed desires. And with Moon in Scorpio, this is quite, with that Taurus Scorpio axis, that's quite, how would you say? I'm looking for a word in Dutch that is luguber, that is like perverse, right? So it's like perverse energy, especially with Uranus there, it's quite dangerous. And we have a T square, right, with that Aquarian energy. So again, a Leo. There's no individual. There's no real true ego. There's no real fire here. And this is a collective that is being hurt and that can have fears, and that could act out of fear. But I think the importance here is for you to investigate your personal truth. That is what Mercury, right? The North Node is in Gemini. So we have to investigate. We have to study. We have to explore what, Mercury retrograde all over to Aquarius. I think, there's more than ever going to come out conspiracy theories, and there's going to be a collective confusion. It is so easy to be confused right now. So you have to focus on your close environment. Again, I'm going to keep repeating this. And Mercury retrograde really has to question the collective belief system that is going on right now. And I think that is what is happening. And I think because of that, we're going to really wake up as to, holy shit, this is what we do as a collective. And I think the beautiful thing right now is that if you truly can stay neutral and come act out of love and light and do together with groups, because there's so much group energy, the impact of the group that you can have as a collective is powerful right now. So this is about us gathering each individual and really transcend polarity. And just because we are human, our humanness, to use that humanity, to use that humanness to connect with one another again and see how we are all interconnected as humans because of the choices that we make individually and how that impacts the world as a collective. Well, because of that, you really have to be so aware. In a way, you have to find a balance between being a skeptic and being a complete, enlightened spiritual being in a way. It's not enlightened spiritual being, it's not the right word, but being open to mysticism, open to other realities and other dimensions, yet at the same time being a skeptic of your own spiritual theories. And that's what Saturn and Neptune squaring the nodes and also semi-squaring each other. The spiritual crisis that could come into your life right now. What do I have to believe? I don't know what to believe anymore. And should I give my power away to other people, or should I just take it myself and be disillusioned myself? I think there's no other way than to go through these illusions and then to just learn from them, learn a feedback of other people, and just stay very aware of what's going on in your environment right now with other people. We have to investigate what we truly believe and how that belief leads to a choice that we make. And if everybody's going to just choose to do what other people tell us to do, or because other people do it, because it could hurt a collective, I think honestly that we are losing our identity. And in a way, that's good, because too much identity is going to lead to separation. We have to learn that we are all interconnected, but we have to see how each individual is still choosing to go with that collective. That is Aquarian energy. And so to honor that, we have to, go into that polarity of Leo and to really honor, I'm choosing this, and my heart says me to choose this particular way of being, and I'm going to stand in that truth no matter what the collective says, but that's why you got to be so prepared to really, you're going to get Mercury retrograde in Aquarius is there's a lot of miscommunication going on in people, and squaring Mars in Taurus, this could get very physical. Moon in Scorpio, boundaries being stepped over. So, you know, this is really do the work, really be aware of the senses, of your own physical senses, that they are not telling the truth. You got to just really find people who are on the same level and get in dialogue with them. What are you experiencing? How are you experiencing this? And how can we do this together? You know, and what is your strength and what is my strength? And how can we put them together and then really bring that to life, bring that fire to life? That is what's going on right now. And you need to investigate your spiritual experiences with a critical eye, but still leave room enough so that you can still be mystified. That's where the balance lies. All right? Here's to that. Much love. See you next week. Bye-bye.